Hello there, and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jameson Rabbit, and it is my honor this week to introduce my friend, Mike Roth.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. I have no interesting fact for you this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one.
What's that?
This is my 99th episode.
This is your 99th episode? This is our 100th episode.
Yeah.
Mike jokes he missed an episode early in our run, but this is our 100th episode of Real Reviews.
It's crazy. This is your 100. You
It
are
is.
extremely dedicated.
100 weeks in a row this show has been on.
This
That's
is
pretty
crazy.
great.
That is really good.
Yeah.
I've been having fun. What about you?
I'm having a blast.
I think we should talk more about it later.
All right, let's see what we have at the end, but let's jump into what we're here to do, and that is talk about what is on the marquee this week. And I'm going to start it off with a movie called Young Messiah. Young Messiah is a film from director Cyrus, now work with me on this last name, Cyrus Noriste, I'm going to say.
It looks like that.
Cyrus is, fun note, he is from Madison, Wisconsin.
Really?
He's a homegrown guy, went to West High School here in Madison. So, Cyrus, my apologies for what I have to say. It is the story about young Jesus in his travels on Earth as a young man. It is based on an Anne Rice novel, not on biblical scripture.
Anne Rice?
Yes, that Anne
Wow.
Rice. It is not based off of the scripture of the Bible. Know that going in.
Was it Vampire Lestat?
It almost would have been better if the Vampire Lestat.
Oh,
there was a
no.
guy who kind of looked like the Vampire Lestat. The devil looked very much like Lestat.
There's the devil in here?
Of course.
Man.
And it is it's all about young Jesus and his family, of course, Joseph and Mary, traveling around, and King Herod wants this boy dead. This young Jesus, I want him dead. I want his family dead. And Sean Bean is in this as Herod's right-hand man, as a Roman soldier sent out to find and kill Jesus. Does this sound familiar at all to you?
A little bit, yeah.
We might have seen a movie similar to this just recently. This movie features a cast full of pasty white British folks playing Middle Eastern people during this biblical time, led by Sean Bean, as I say. And it really goes nowhere.
Yeah?
There's the costuming and the sets, because it all looks very much like sets, are all crisp and clean. They travel on foot from Nazareth to Judea, and they're all very clean still when they get there. Their white robes are still very white. You're on the road for days and days. The centurions all look beautifully crisp. Everything about it looks like it was the first day on set.
Yeah.
Nothing in this world looks lived in at all. I think that was one of the things we enjoyed about Risen, was at least that looked good. It looked authentic. And you have this lady, Sarah Lazaro, playing Mary, Mother Mary, has zero presence on screen at all. This is the Virgin Mary, and she has a zero presence. The only thing she was there for was to give worried looks. She'd give a worried look to Joseph. She'd give a worried look to Jesus. She'd give a worried look to this guy, to Sarah, everyone. That's all she was there for. She had nothing. There's a standoff at one point between the young 8-year-old Jesus and the flesh incarnation of the devil. Big standoff. No stakes to it. Just weak. No impact. And it was a bad movie of just British actors playing what should be Middle Eastern roles.
But we got a hometown guy directing it.
Yeah,
And that's
I'm
good.
sorry, Cyrus. The movie was rough. It was rough to get through. And then when I found out that it was based on an Anne Rice novel, it made a little more sense. But I did not enjoy this. Poor Sean Bean, you're better than this. That's for sure. So I ended up giving Young Messiah 1.5 stars.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, it happens, but that's what we got.
Yeah.
Moving on, though.
Moving
What do you
on.
have? Maybe something better?
Oh, I got something that's more of a perfect match.
Oh?
The movie Perfect Match. Does that corny enough?
No, it's perfect amount of
Okay,
corn.
sweet. Perfect Match. It's directed by Billy Woodruff. It's mainly about a guy named Charlie Mack. He's out there. The actor's name is Terrence Jenkins, and he is this playboy. He just a womanizer. He thinks he knows life. And this movie, his friends, they kind of bet him. They say, you know what? It's really good time to be in a monogamous relationship, get to know someone, get to love someone. Why don't we bet you that you need to be with one girl for 1 month before so-and-so's wedding.
Do I see Brandy in this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Charlie Mack, he takes them up on the bet, and he ends up kind of falling in love.
Oh,
and
no.
He learns a little bit about life, a little bit about love, a little bit about himself.
So was this the perfect movie then?
No, this was not a perfect movie. It sounds fun. It sounds rom-coms are really my type of thing. I think I mentioned that with our very first episode. 100 episodes ago.
This feels a little Boomerang-ish.
It is a lot like Boomerang in a way.
Okay.
And mostly it's about the development that Charlie Mack has to go through. It's not just about love. It's also about his career and about himself. And he has some family members. He has some friends. He has his girlfriend for the movie named Eva, played by Cassie Ventura. She was great.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about this movie is it felt exactly like a Disney made-for-TV movie. It had when people are falling and stumbling like they do in cheap comedies. There's funny stocked canned music in the background. Boop, boop, boop.
Slide whistles.
Yeah, pretty much. And really, that brought down the quality of the movie. Because once you hear it, you can't unhear it.
Sure.
And it comes up over and over. And also this whole, do you remember Disney made-for-movie shows like for Zack and Cody and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Sweet Life, stuff like
Yeah.
that. It was a lot like this, where all the characters, they figured, well, it's funnier if I overreact and I just get really expressive. It doesn't work. It really doesn't work. This was a very cheap quality movie. It could have been better if it had different writing, different acting,
A different script.
and a different score, but otherwise...
So what was your score for this movie?
It wasn't boring, but it wasn't good. I gave it 2.
Okay. That sounds fair.
Yeah, and we're going to just settle at that.
Fair enough.
It will probably be on TV in a year, by the way.
Right, yeah. The next movie we have on the marquee is called The Brothers Grimsby. We have starring Sacha Baron Cohen. The director is Louis Leterrier. Why do I get all the rough names? Louis Leterrier. We have Sacha Baron Cohen playing kind of a lunkhead soccer hooligan named Nobby. We have Mark Strong as Sebastian, the super British spy. He's basically playing the character he was in The Kingsman.
Yeah.
Super spy.
Yep.
And we have Rebel Wilson as Nobby's wife, and she is playing typical Rebel Wilson role. Oh, she's outrageous.
Not as promiscuous as usual.
Yeah, but
Very
still,
promiscuous,
yeah.
but not as.
We also have Penelope Cruz, and we have Ian McShane in this movie as the head of the spy unit. And it is basically, Nobby is this soccer hooligan who's looking for his long-lost brother, who, just so happens to be Sebastian the super spy. He finds him, and of course, he stumbles in Mr. Magoo's way through things and ruins things for Sebastian, and Sebastian really doesn't want to have any part of it. But together, they're going to learn to love each other.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
It's
like the movie
reunited, and it feels so good. And it's a lot of what you would expect out of Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
You get your standard full frontal male nudity. You get a lot of the lowest common denominator jokes that he loves to go with for long extended sequences.
Jokes that we've actually already heard back in middle school.
Middle school is being generous.
Yeah.
These are grade school jokes.
These are the first dirty jokes I've ever heard in my life.
Very-
Recreated in long, agonizing scenes.
The thing is I think Sacha Baron Cohen, he's hit and miss. I think, though, I'm hearing interviews with him and seeing him, he's a smart guy. And I think he has fun ideas. This movie was horribly unoriginal, though.
Yeah.
I mean, its humor came, you could see the train coming down the tracks with the joke on it. Like, okay, are we going to get there? Is it coming yet? Because I know where this is going.
Well, I think Sacha Baron Cohen, he wants to be a satirist. He wants people to look at him as the guy who takes foibles in life and brings them out so people could have meaningful discussions. But it gets shoved underneath a really dirty carpet of shock comedy.
Yeah.
And once you get into, I'm only a shock comic, I'm only going to show full frontal nudity or long agonizing scenes of shoving explosives in places explosives should not be. It covers up anything smart you wanted to do with this movie. I've seen there's a couple of jokes in this movie where I was like, oh, that's interesting, but it's totally covered up by the elephant scene and by the I got a poison dart in someplace.
Yeah, you know where this is going. Oh, we have to suck the poison out. Oh boy, where's that going?
And if you know the joke, I'm sure you do.
Yeah. If you were ever a 7-year-old, you know that joke.
And then the whole ending, which just felt really kind of like my very first potty joke that I said when I was in grade school.
You explain it perfectly, though, because it is. He really kind of destroys anything that he might be going for and might be getting. I mean, they attempt to insert like this touching backstory in there between the two of them, as if you could even care in this movie. And the relationship with Rebel Wilson is just there for whatever reason, just for humor.
Laughs,
just for humor. Mark Strong is way better than this movie. At least I hope he is. I thought he was.
I'd like to think Sacha Baron Cohen is better than this, just from, like you said, interviews, and he is a smart guy. But every time I see him in a movie, I think this guy has to stop making movies, and it's a shame because
it really is.
He could do probably better if he could just stop being a shock comic.
You mentioned the elephant scene.
Yeah.
I checked out of this movie during that elephant scene. That was when I said, all right, there's no coming back from this. And I don't want to explain the elephant scene.
You can't. This is a family-friendly show.
It's horrible.
You can't even explain it without
like
a
terrible sketch, it goes on way too long.
Yeah.
Even if it's a funny premise, it goes on way too long.
I've actually brought up the premise of this elephant scene to other people, and they laugh.
Sure.
But the reason why they laugh is because
you don't
I
have
can
to
tell
see
it
for 7 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I can tell you in 30 seconds or less, and you're like, ha, ha, ha. But if you have to watch this, it's like watching Tom Green just be quiet for a long time. Yeah, it gets uncomfortably funny after a while, but, you know, I don't want to be uncomfortably
Mike, when I saw this
laughing.
movie, there was a comparison that I told you what I thought of this movie.
Yeah.
It felt like the worst Adam Sandler movie I've ever seen being violated by a Michael Bay movie.
I did not think of it that harsh.
That's what I thought of it.
I didn't think it was boring. I thought it was kind of sad. But I didn't think it was boring, and there was a couple of funny jokes that I liked. I liked the whole gun scene where the first time he ever shoots a gun, he happens to be an expert marksman, and he makes a little commentary off of that. I like the scene where someone tells Sacha Baron Cohen that the most beautiful woman in the room wearing a green dress, and he does not pick the stereotype.
He thinks it's Gabrielle Sidibe.
I think that was pretty funny.
Struggle to find anything else, though.
And otherwise, it was not boring.
You have Ian McShane in this movie, completely wasted him. Give him something to do, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have him in there as the head of the spy agency to do nothing. You could have gotten me to do that. You don't need to have Ian McShane in there to do nothing.
I will not argue that this was not a bad film. This was a bad film. I think our degrees of how bad it is.
Well, what did you ultimately give Brothers Grimsby?
I ultimately gave it 2. You shouldn't see this. And in a way, it's generous, but you could see this movie, and if anything, you could tell friends of certain scenes, and they will chuckle and think you're hilarious until they see it themselves, and then they realize, oh my gosh.
Yeah, this movie's funny if you talk about it, just like it's funny. Maybe reading a joke out of a joke book.
Yeah.
But if I read that joke to you over and over and over again, you're going to get real tired of it real quick.
If you take a short joke and turn it into a 10-minute long visual, it's not that funny.
I loathed this movie, and its mortal sin of being unoriginal, unfunny, and a waste of my time. I gave it 0 stars.
I almost gave you a poster.
I actually got a poster of this movie. Thanks, Palace. 0 stars for me on this movie. It was hot garbage, but
not very often you give.
No, I don't like giving zeros, but I can't find anything redeeming for it. I can't do it. So, but moving on, we have one last movie on the marquee this week. What is that movie? Hopefully, it's better than these.
Well, it is. It's 10 Cloverfield Lane.
All right.
If you have not heard about this is in the same universe as Cloverfield. It is not a prequel or sequel as far as I know. It is a different area.
It's like an anthology.
It is. And it's a totally different feel of a movie. The movie is about, we have John Goodman. He plays Howard. He has this underground bunker. He also has 2 injured people from the outside, Michelle, who's played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and Emmett, who's played by John Gallagher Jr. They're all in this confined space, and things get a little creepy. It's eerie, very Hitchcock-like, where the suspense is building up as we get to know these people. And as we get to know these people, some of them we don't like at all, and it gets creepier and creepier. Of course, this is in the same universe as Cloverfield, so there is a reason why they're in the bunkers, but the people down there, they're really not sure, especially at the character Michelle. She was thrown off the road by hit and run. John Goodman brought in. She wakes up in this bunker not knowing what's going on.
Right.
That brought in suspense. Even though the audience knows what's going on, she did not. And watching this was so interesting. At the, I'm not going to say the end, but what the end was, but at the end, I was really white-knuckling this chair. This was a great build-up. This is a suspense/horror film, but more on the suspense side. The way this is shot, the location of, or the set, which the set, of course, is mainly this underground bunker, a small little area. That was fantastic. I loved how there's little details where it looked like a crazy guy who's planned this for his entire life maybe built this thing.
Well, and it felt like the bunker became a character.
Yeah.
And I felt like I knew the layout of that bunker. I felt like I knew intimately where things were. It didn't feel like the space didn't make sense to me for the most part. I like that. I like, this felt very much like you mentioned a Hitchcock. It felt like a Twilight Zone episode. You know, this whole thing. I like the idea that maybe Cloverfield is more of just an idea of, we have individual little stories, more of an anthology put under the name. Because if you're going into this movie looking for a Cloverfield sequel, you're going to be sorely disappointed. And they never said that's what this was. And I like that we have directed by Dan Trachtenberg. This is his first movie.
Yeah.
Great direction out of him.
I saw a short clip of Portal, which is pretty fun. If you are a fan of video games, check it out. If not, check it out anyways. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought John Goodman was menacing. And there were so many great reveals in this movie that would turn the story on its head. Kind of when you thought you were starting to figure out what was going on, where this was going, who this was, what the truth was, because you're getting these reveals about what is true and what isn't true. What can I take from this character? What can I take from this character? And there would be a turn, and you'd be like, whoa, I did not expect that. It's just a great thriller, suspense, a lot of fun. And then we're not going to get into spoilers, but there's another big reveal towards the end that's a great payoff to me. A great payoff.
Really, white-knuckling the seat the entire time. I really enjoyed this movie a lot.
It was a lot of fun. It was really good. For a 3-person cast, they pulled it off really well. Mary Elizabeth Winstead was excellent in this role of... It was almost like Room. I was waiting for her to wake up with the kid next to her. Wake up kidnapped in a room.
There was a couple things I didn't like about this. There was conspiracy and plotting and stuff, which I thought was a little bit weird that they were allowed all this privacy in such a confined spot.
That was one of my issues, was there was some plotting going on between the two characters, and I thought, knowing this space like I know, same as you, I have a feeling Howard would hear, John Goodman's always Walter to me, that he would hear what's going on. He's just suspicious enough of everything that this couldn't go down that way. But
I also was a little disappointed in the slow build, but I think you had to have the slow build in it in order for you to feel so much emotion at the end.
Well, and there was a great moment. You have the initial shock because you wake up with her character not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
And you meet John Goodman's character, and you're not sure, you're feeling him out. And then after the initial struggle of all this stuff, there's this moment of normalcy and bonding, and there's that great kitchen table scene that is really weird, and you're not quite sure what the motive of these characters is. I thought that was great. I thought it was a masterful move for a first-time director. First time he got a meaty role like this. I thought Dan Trachtenberg did an amazing job.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more by him. I'm excited to see more from the Cloverfield universe. I hope that they keep this up where it's just like Prometheus and Alien.
Yeah.
2 different movies, kind of has one thing that's kind of the same, but otherwise it's a different feel all over. I really enjoyed this movie. A lot. Bradley Cooper was excellent.
As the
As
disembodied
usual.
voice on the phone. Yeah, I desperately wanted to learn more as this movie was going along. And this is one of those movies, and that's a mark of a great movie, that hung with me for days afterwards. And I'm thinking things over, and I'm going, well, wait, what about this? And what about that? And it's one of those movies, like, I have to go see it again.
Yeah,
And
it is.
that's the mark of a really great storytelling, is when you get me thinking and chewing this over in my head, and I don't just blow it off and go, I figured it out, it's fine.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of some of those M. Night
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan movies, where at the end I was just like, wow. And I picked up all these little clues, and I needed to go back in order to see all these clues. Well, unless they was spoiled, like, for you.
Yeah, exactly. Sixth Sense. I'll never get over that. Ruining for me. But I really love this movie. I had a couple of minor issues. One of them we mentioned. Another one is very spoilery. But I gave the movie 4.5 stars. Yeah. I really, really dug this movie. I highly recommend it to everyone.
I was teetering on 5, but I gave it 4.5 anyways. This is a great movie. I'm going to have this in my collection as soon as I can.
Yeah, it's the best movie that's in theaters right now. Either go see this or Zootopia.
Oh, Deadpool.
Deadpool's on its way out.
If
you haven't seen Deadpool by now, you're the only person,
hey,
or
Star
you're
Wars
9
just
years old.
Star Wars just left last week.
Go see 10 Cloverfield Lane, though. It is a great movie. Let's take a look ahead at what is going to be coming out the weekend of April 24th, 25th. We have 3 movies coming out that weekend. The first one is called I Saw the Light. I Saw the Light, starring Tom Hiddleston and Elizabeth Olsen. It is the Hank Williams story. Biopic about Hank Williams Sr.
Wow.
Really interesting story, and it looks like it's really well done. I'm kind of looking forward to that one a lot. The next movie we have that week is a sequel 16 years in the making, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2.
It's amazing how many people have asked me if I own the first movie. No, I don't. In case you're about to ask me, go on Facebook or whatever, I do not own the first movie.
First one was a huge success.
I never seen it.
What did I made for $5 million? Made $356 million. That's a decent profit margin. So the third and final movie that we have coming out that weekend is Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Never heard of this movie.
Whew, this movie's been long in the works.
This was an underground thing that we just heard about recently? No?
Not so much. The big movie, the big superhero movie, which I'm going to keep my opinions to myself until we get to the movie. But that is coming out finally that weekend. Like we mentioned, this is our 100th episode.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
It takes almost 2 years to make 100 episodes, in case you didn't know. And
there's 52 weeks in a year. Okay. Yep.
This guy right here, Jameson Rabbit, he is the most dedicated guy to the show. He has put in 100 shows. You mind if I share my one? Well, I got many stories. The reason why I like this. But one of my favorite
we going behind the scenes
episodes, behind the scenes, he came in after surgery. He had a tube coming out of his neck because his surgery was on his neck. He's hopped up on pain pills because he had to have been in a lot of pain, but he's in here anyways, and he still does a great show. He just
I don't know if it was great. I don't remember it.
But I think my absolute favorite moment happened just like 20 minutes ago when everybody came in. Yeah. And I almost got a little verklempt. I really did. That was really special. These people that we work with is
there's a great staff here at Sun Prairie Media Center. K-Sun. I've had a lot of fun. 100 episodes. Now this is not the end. I've had a lot of fun. I've been joking with you over last week that Mike missed one early on, if you remember, way back. And I have fun joking with you. But I love this. I love this back and forth with us. You and I have different opinions on movies. I dig that, different tastes. Yep. And it's a lot of fun kind of arguing, discussing, cajoling each other about movies. It's a blast. And this isn't the end or anything like that. But I've really enjoyed watching this show, watching everything around here kind of transition from when we started. I mean, like you said, we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary as well. And if you go back on ksun.tv and watch some of our early episodes, it was rough. You've seen beards come and go.
Yep.
You've seen us in different studios. You've seen us upgrade to this beautiful set that we have now.
I think I gained like 30 pounds.
We've also
it wasn't the camera. I did it on my own.
We've added more cameras. That adds more weight. Let's say that. We've had the recent addition of us going on to radio as well, which has been a really fun time.
If you haven't checked out the radio station, check it out. It's a lot of fun. There's so much different things that are going on.
I'm sure we mentioned it, but if you want to listen to us, you can listen on 103.5. You can download the app 103.5 The Sun. You can listen to us on demand there anytime you want.
And we don't hype this up very much. I think we mentioned it only once. Jameson here does like 2 other podcasts. He also does a radio show with his son, which is a great show.
I'll take this opportunity. Yeah, I do. I do a radio show with my son, Logan, that is on 103.5. It's called It's Time for 5, and we count down top 5 lists each and every week. It's a lot of fun. It's a blast, and it's all because of this.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it. I've had a lot of fun doing lists. That's my favorite thing to do. I love doing our movie throwbacks because you and I have different ideas of movies to talk about. But I love when we get to do list shows. When it's a bad week of movies, when it's a week where it's January and there's 2 terrible movies out this week, what are we going to do? Let's do a list as well. And that's a lot of fun because that really brings out like our different shades of what we think about movies.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I've learned a lot from you doing that and just really enjoyed our time here. And we have to thank the people that helped make this show possible.
Yeah.
100 episodes. Our executive producer, Jeff Robbins.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Robbins, who runs this whole thing, is in charge of this whole production, who brought us in out of nowhere, said, hey, guys, you want to talk about movies on TV? We'd love to. Thank you, Jeff, for doing everything you do. We love it. We can't thank you enough.
And he's made it possible where we're sponsored by Marcus, who we also have to thank Marcus Theaters.
Marcus Theaters, amazing.
He also got us into Comic-Con last year. Another thing I'll never forget. That was awesome.
Got you to meet Billy D. Williams.
I got to totally get all...
hard-hitting interview.
Yeah, I choked. Huge, but...
We also want to thank... the staff here who works so hard, whether it's with this show or anything else that you see, Mara Trusty, Lisa Wolf, Rachel Packard, you guys are amazing. And of course, last but not least, our chief engineer, our Scotty who's always giving her all she's got, Captain, Chris McCafferty, working the 1s and 2s in the booth. He is incredible. He makes all this possible.
It's unfortunate that he's graduating and he's going to go to college. If you want to write him angry letters, we'll...
We're not letting you
go.
Yeah,
we're not. If anybody can find any loopholes on how to kidnap him and keep him in that room doing this show for us, that'd be awesome.
What's going on? Thank you, Chris. We love you. You're awesome. So we want to thank all those people. Of course, we want to thank our sponsor, Marcus Theaters, as you said, the Palace here in Sun Prairie. We highly recommend you go and checking out all your movies at the Palace. Sit in the Dream Loungers, go to the Bistro, get you some cheese curds and some big boys.
Right before the show, they everybody gave us these nice little Marcus cards, which are good for any occasion, birthdays or whatever.
Go get one.
I already know what I'm using mine
Big
for,
boys
and it's
time.
all going to be big boys. Love those burgers.
Yeah, we love the Palace. The Palace is going to be expanding, too, if you haven't heard about that. Recently announced that the Palace will be expanding out, adding 2 more theaters already. That place isn't even a year old, and it's already getting bigger because of everybody going to see movies.
And I'm really excited because there's a couple of movies that we can't fit into our new location, and now they're going to have more screens. So
more ultra screens, more everything at the Palace.
Hopefully I'll be able to see all these Academy Awards before the Academy starts.
We also want to tell you, if you want to find more from us, you can find us, of course, on Facebook, on Twitter. Search Real Reviews TV, at Real Reviews TV. You find all that right there. All of our previous episodes, like I mentioned, are available on ksun.tv. You can find our YouTube channel if you want to watch us there. Go on YouTube, search Real Reviews, KSUN, KSUN. And that's most of the places you can find us.
Yeah.
Track down Mike when he's out hanging out outside. It's St. Patty's Day as we're recording it, so Mike will be out having a green beer or 2. Come by a pint with him.
One more person I'd like to add.
Yes.
Our audience.
Yep.
Thank you. Everybody who watches us. This is for you.
There we go. So until next week, though, episode 101, when we're going to be talking about Miracles from Heaven and Allegiant, the new Divergent movie, as well as maybe another one. My name is Jameson.
I'm Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.